What's going on, all? It is August 27th. I got one more recording in the month. Next week, I'm deer hunting, so you won't hear from me. Well, you might. I might get you something out in the middle of the day. Who knows? But we'll see. Do what I can. It's going to be hard to study the market while I'm out there and see what's happening. So, what do we got cracking right now? I'd mentioned before a site called Unusual Whales. You got to check it out. It's not, and I follow them on Instagram posts. Their Instagram post, one of the ones that just came out, the most recent one, says a California proposal could make undocumented immigrants eligible for up to $150,000 in state-supported home loans. Now, couple that with the $25,000 that the proposed administration says that they might be able to do or want to do if Kamala gets into office. They want to do the 25,000 and give it to people. That's a significant injection of capital, another quantitative easing, if you will, of money into our housing market that's going to push the cost of housing up. So if you're sitting here thinking, I'm going to wait till after the election, Trump gets in office, I definitely want to invest in it because things are going to get better in the economy. If Kamala gets in the office, well, I better get ahead of it because cost of everything is going to go up. It's going to be very inflationary for the real estate market. That's my opinion. So I better get into it. If that happens, I better jump into it right away. Either way, you're going to buy investment real estate, period. Either way, it just makes sense. So if you're not doing it now and you're sitting here waiting to see what the election does, all you're doing is pushing the cost of whatever you're going to buy up. That's what's happening right now. We've got the Case-Shiller news that had just come out. What's going on with current appreciation? It's up again, another 2% in June, 2%. So, guys, I don't know what to tell you. If you're waiting, all you're doing is costing yourself more. If you're thinking the rates are going to go down, you're costing yourself more. Here's another thing that we're probably dealing with. If you are in a voting position and you are in the air as to who you're going to vote for, and I know there's a lot of different theories about this, the 25% unrealized capital gains. You guys hopefully understand what that means. Unrealized means if you have something that's worth a lot of money and you sell it, you realize the gain. You got the money. If you don't sell it, all you have is an asset sitting there that's not liquidated. When it's not liquidated, it's not realized. There is a proposal that if the current administration continues with the current vice president, that there will be a unrealized capital gains tax. Now they're saying, well, it's only on the people that make $100 million or more. And there's other statements out there that says it's on everybody. It could be on people that make under 400,000. There's all these different things that we don't know until the actual thing hits. There's been zero policy discussed. There's been references to things. Let's say that's a thing. Even if it's 100 million, it doesn't take long for them to trickle it down to the next unsuspecting victim. And if we end up in this, I'm just telling you about this, if we end up there and that ends up becoming a thing, 25% tax on unrealized capital gains, and you buy a house for $450,000. And because the interest rates drop by, say, 1%, we know the property values will probably go up by about 10 to 12%. So 12% would bring that value on that home from 450,000 to 504,000. That is now, you bought the house at 450. Now you've got a home on Zillow that says worth 504,000. That year in your taxes, you have to pay. If this does happen, if something like this does go about, I want you to think about this. You will end up having a $54,000 gain on that asset, even though you didn't sell it, but that's the new value of the asset because your net worth went up. You now have to write a check of 25% of that gain. What is 25% of that gain? $13,500. You already have income taxes. You're already paying sales taxes. You're already paying Social Security taxes, which is getting thrown completely away. Now you have to write an additional check on your paper net worth of $13,500. Now, again, we don't know that this is real. We don't know that this is actually in writing. I have not actually seen it. It has not been put out there as a full balls proposal. It's been anecdotally said out there and pointed out there as far as a campaign piece. With as weak as that effing campaign has been, zero policy. In fact, if you look at the stat, I'm not even getting into that shit. But think about that. If you're a voting person and this is even being talked about, I don't give a damn if it's a $100 million person, a $5 million person, a $250,000 a year person. I don't give a shit. Just the fact that they're proposing it, that's something to beat their chest about. That's freaking scary. You would have to write a check of $13,500 on top of all your other taxes just for one property. That's not anything else. If your 401k went up, you'd have to write a check because your 401k went up in value. Something to consider. So let's get into the charts, which is what I always like to do. There is a lot of talk. Fed's going to lower the rate. It's like, okay, the Fed's going to drop the interest rates. We're going to be in an awesome position because the Fed has lowered the rates, and we are all going to live amazingly because the Fed lowers the rates. One thing this particular chairman of the Fed has proven, and he doesn't really follow what people think should be happening. Hasn't happened, right? We came into 2024 anticipating multiple, I think it's 4 or 5 rate decreases, and it hasn't happened. So now we're in a position because of the jobs report that was completely cooked, because he has said jobs are going to push whether or not they make adjustments to their monetary policy. Well, now the jobs are a lot weaker. Well, it's kind of forcing his hand. How much, though? And is he going to do it? We don't know. There's a lot of speculation. A lot of people saying for sure he's going to. I don't know. But what if he doesn't? What's going to happen? But if he does, and he does it too much, that's also can be inflationary, because again, it's getting people moving their money because it's now cheaper to operate. Therefore, there's going to be a little bit more things happening in the economy, boost a little bit of inflation. Inflation has not gone down. It has slowed down. There's the difference. So we're not having a drop in inflation. We're having a slow down in inflation. It's still going up, though. Still much higher than their so-called 2% that they're targeting. So let's take a look at this real quick. Let me get to the right chart. All right, here we go. We're going to look at current charts where we're at today. Now, this is mortgage-backed securities. This is these lines that I've been talking about right here. This is the one that I'll go over to it, where the securities value was at the start of the announcement of quantitative easing. We've hit that. We broke through it. This is the day that the stock market took that massive hit, second day of August. We peaked out at a point that I'll show you, which I keep showing you, and then we reversed back, bounced around. Now we've continued to just climb up. This is all on the job situation, right? The weakness in the jobs report. This is, the speculation on what the Fed is going to do. But I believe this is our ceiling. Why do I believe that is our ceiling? Because one, it may create a ceiling. Right here, it showed that it's a ceiling. And then it showed that that's the same ceiling from the day that they announced quantitative easing. This is that day, November 25th, 2008. This is the announcement. This is the end of trading that day. We built that particular, I would imagine that this is just basically a block that we have right there of where the value is based upon that. And look, this is a pretty secure floor that we've established there. And you'll look right here, if we go back here, look at the floor. Floor, and we also have floor up here. So it's interesting. We have this channel, this sideways channel that we were trading in, all established by that one day. So go back to this, and I went backwards a little bit. So, okay, let's go ahead and draw a line back. The top of that trading day represents the top that we see, period, in this chart. That's the top we see. That is the top valuation of a close. Now we have it open that dropped really, really hard. And where did it go down? It went down to the bottom here of that same channel. So this goes back to September of 2008. And these are our peaks. And this is a channel I think that we're going to be continuing to operate within. So I'm going to continue to look at this as us trading within this channel sideways, and this might be our price point. So this is just a great point to lock. If we get below this, then we have some places to fall, and we can see where it fell out of it last time. What happened when it fell out of it? It took down heavy downward, right? Fell out of it last time, heavy downward, or it used that as their ceiling. So that's just my thoughts. I don't know where this is all going to land. There's still a lot of speculation. Who knows what the Fed's going to actually do? So we'll see. But I wanted you guys to see what I'm seeing, decide for yourself. And if you're voting, vote early. Get yourself set up, get in there early. I've actually volunteered as a poll worker. We'll see how this goes. I'm really curious to see how the fur is going to fly in this one. And I wouldn't mind being front and center on that one. So appreciate you guys. I will talk to you on Friday.